Hello and welcome to another episode of Kevin's Commentary on Comics. Today I'm going to be talking about the latest news and tidbits in the comic-related world. Now, some may wonder why it is I don't actually talk too much in these news segments about comics. I have mentioned in the past about certain events coming up, but I don't really talk about, character development in upcoming issues, mainly because I want to read those stories. So if I do a news story on it, then I'm kind of spoiling it for myself. So I stick generally to the comic-related TV, movie, toys, and any other related comic news that I happen to come across. So let's get started. Bow. Promotional posters for the new Daredevil series, which will be premiering on Netflix on April 10th, have been released and they look pretty cool. Here you have, of course, Matt Murdock, who is played by Charlie Cox. He's holding on to the King, which I can only assume will be his Billy Club when he's doing his Daredevil thing. And look at those bruised knuckles. Maybe we ought to think about some padded gloves or something, huh? Seems like those knuckles might be a dead giveaway. Why is the blind man punching things so much? Guess we'll find out. Then we have Foggy Nelson. He's played by Eldon Henson. He looks quite a bit younger than the Foggy from the comics. And yes, he's definitely thinner than the Foggy from the comics, but that's okay. It'll be interesting to see how close they get to Foggy's characterization. He's always been kind of maybe a little bit of a klutz, but always pretty smart when it comes to the lawyering stuff, so I'm sure that will be a focus in this show. Next, we got Karen Page, who's played by Ann Wool, who in the comics was a long-time Matt Murdock / Daredevil love interest. She started out as a secretary for the Nelson and Murdock law firm, and I can only assume she'll be doing the same in the show. This is Claire Temple, who is played by Rosario Dawson, and to be honest, this is the only name I recognize from this cast, but not from the comics. So I did a quick Wikipedia scan and see that Claire was once a love interest to Luke Cage, who will be doing a Netflix show as well. Can we say tie-in? I think so. It's interesting that Claire from the comics was also the ex-wife of Bill Foster, who was Black Goliath, later named Giant Man in the comics. And even though Foster died during the Civil War, I'm wondering if he'll be featured in any of these Netflix series. And then maybe an appearance in Captain America Civil War? I mean, let's face it, his death was a pivotal part in the comics version of the Civil War. So introducing the character within the Netflix line and then tying it into one of the big movies, I think that would be pretty cool. And finally, we have the big man himself, the Kingpin, who is played by Vincent D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio. I'm going to go with D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio. I don't know. I'll admit, I was kind of thinking maybe the Kingpin should be a bit bulkier than this guy is, but he does look pretty good as the Kingpin, and I'm sure he's going to be pretty much of a badass. So I'm looking forward to the series. As I said, the entire season will drop on April 10th, so it's fair game for binge watching. Do you binge watch? I did binge one entire season, the season 3 of House of Cards. I watched that entire thing in one sitting, and I will never do that again. I was so exhausted by the end of it, I just was really kind of put out on watching TV for a while after doing such. So I think I will be consuming my Daredevil in 1-hour chunks or 45 minutes or however long these series will be, and kind of enjoy it over at least a few days' time, more than likely a couple weeks, just because I think that would be better. So, do you binge watch? If you do, are you going to do it on the Daredevil series? Let me know in the comments below. Next up in the news, we got the unveiling of Bandai's Avengers Age of Ultron action figures. Although we're only going to see Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and the Hulk, sorry Black Widow and Hawkeye, you were left out. Now each of these figures comes with interchangeable heads and hands and are fully posable. Kind of makes me wonder if I could put Cap's head on the Hulk's body. That would be kind of fun. Each figure costs about $52 each, except for the Hulk, which is understandably larger and will run for $80. Now, I'll admit I've never been much of a toy guy when it comes to collecting these things, regardless of my interest in comics. The action figures has never been something that I have actually looked at buying or collecting. But I gotta admit, that Iron Man one looks pretty sweet. Deadline.com is reporting that Ciara Renee will play Hawkgirl in an upcoming an unnamed spinoff from the Arrow and the Flash. The unnamed show is supposed to be about a super team. Previously announced actors and characters for the show are Brandon Ratteau playing Ray Palmer, or the Atom, Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold, and Dominic Purcell as Heatwave. I'm not clear if these guys are going to be members of the team or if they're going to be the villains the team faces. I guess we'll find out. And also Victor Garber is playing Dr. Martin Stein. Now this is interesting because in these notes, I did not see a mention of Robbie Amell, who played Ronnie Raymond, the other half of the Firestorm character that Dr. Martin Stein, or Victor Garber, played in the Flash TV show. I'm not sure how Dr. Stein's character is fitting into this team, if he's actually going to be Firestorm or not. I think it would be pretty cool if he was. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Who knows what the name of this team will be? Perhaps Justice Society? That would be kind of cool. And finally, the last member that's been announced is Katie Lotz, who is playing Sarah Lance, or the Black Canary. The interesting part of this is that apparently she has recently died on the Arrow TV show. But, you know, as with TV comic book shows, the same as comic books themselves, death really isn't that big of a problem. And finally, in more movie news, Brianna Hildebrand has been cast as Negasonic Teenage Warhead in the upcoming Deadpool movie. Now, I don't know who this character is either. I'm sure a lot of you are scratching your heads, but maybe some of you hardcore fans know exactly who she is. Now, this character's first appearance was in New X-Men number 115. Now, previous to this announcement, you could grab a copy of this off of eBay for about 60 cents. But now, if you can even find one, you'll be paying upwards to $20 for this issue. This is kind of amazing to me. We're seeing a spike in the value of a comic based on a character being announced in an upcoming movie. Now, I'm not sure if this has happened with other movie roles when it's been announced. Obviously, you have to discount Thor, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, Daredevil, Iron Man, because those issues where they first appeared are already valuable. So now we're looking at the minor characters who are getting movie roles, and that's increasing the value of the comic in which they first appeared. It's kind of interesting, and maybe as we get more characters being introduced, we can monitor eBay and see what's happening with the cost of the comics where this character first appeared. So that's all the news I have for today. Kind of a quick and dirty episode, get you up to date on the latest comic news. Please subscribe to my channel, and I've got more commentary on comics. So I'm Kevin, that was my commentary. Have a great day, won't you? I'd appreciate it. You really need to. I don't know about you, but it's snowing outside and it's March 31st, for God's sake. Stop it! Bye!